After 60, time begins to feel different. It's no longer just about hours or days, it's about energy, focus, and the quiet moments that truly matter. You start to realize that time isn't something you can give away so easily anymore. You've worked hard, cared deeply, and carried responsibilities for decades. This stage of life should be about peace, not pressure. Yet, so many of us still spend our precious time on things that only bring stress, regret, or emptiness. We do it out of habit, guilt, or simply because we don't notice how much of our happiness is being quietly taken away. Let's talk about 9 things that waste your time after 60 and how releasing them can help you live with more calm, freedom, and joy. First, trying to please everyone. Many of us were raised to be polite, to put others first, and to avoid conflict. We became experts at saying it's fine when it wasn't, at smiling when we were tired, and at agreeing when we wanted to say number. For years, it might have seemed like the right thing to do. It kept the peace, helped us feel useful, and avoided arguments. But over time, this constant need to please becomes a heavy burden. I remember Linda, 68, who spent her whole life being the dependable one, caring for parents, raising children, and still being the first to volunteer even after retirement. One evening, she decided to skip a family dinner just because she wanted a quiet night to herself. Later, she told me that sitting alone with her tea that night was the first real peace she had felt in years. The world didn't fall apart. Her family managed just fine. That's when she realized something powerful: people respect you more when you respect yourself. At this stage of life, your energy is sacred. You don't need to earn love or approval through sacrifice. The people who truly care about you won't vanish when you set boundaries. Trying to please everyone isn't kindness, it's a slow way of losing yourself. And after 60, you deserve to show up for yourself just as much as you've shown up for others. Next comes worrying about the past. We all carry our own versions of if only. If only I had saved more, taken that opportunity, or handled things differently. Regret creeps in during quiet moments, looking through old photos or hearing a familiar song. But the truth is, the past is not a place to live, it's only a teacher. Frank, a retired engineer in his 70s, once told me he couldn't forgive himself for missing so many of his kids' birthdays when they were young. He carried that guilt for years until one day, his daughter told him she remembered the times he was there, not the ones he missed. Frank realized he'd been punishing himself for something his family had already forgiven. Regret can't change what's behind you, it only steals your peace now. You can't rewrite old chapters, but you can make the one you're in beautiful. Life after 60 isn't about chasing what you've lost, it's about using what you've learned. You've already earned your wisdom. Don't waste your peace on guilt. Then there's forcing relationships that no longer feel right. People change, friends drift apart, family members grow in different directions. Sometimes the bond fades, not because of conflict, but because your priorities have shifted. Yet, out of habit or duty, you keep trying to maintain it even when it drains you. Robert, 70, retired from his corporate job but kept meeting an old colleague out of loyalty. Each time, the conversation was full of gossip and complaints. He always left feeling frustrated. One day, he stopped trying. Instead, he joined a gardening club and met new friends who shared his passion. He said those friendships and his garden brought him back to life. Letting go of people who no longer fit your peace isn't cruel, it's necessary. You're not abandoning anyone, you're making space for relationships that nurture you. After 60, every connection should bring comfort, not conflict. Surround yourself with those who make you feel calm, heard, and appreciated. Now let's talk about comparing yourself to others. With social media everywhere, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparison. You see someone your age traveling, running marathons, or looking decades younger, and you start wondering why you're not like them. But comparison is one of the quickest ways to drain joy. Life isn't a competition, it's a collection of stories, and each one is different. Susan, a retired teacher, used to compare herself to her friend Martha, who spent her days traveling and posting photos online. Susan often felt like her own life was too plain. Then one quiet morning on her porch, she realized she didn't want Martha's life, she loved her own. The quiet mornings, her roses, her TA that was her happiness. The moment you stop comparing, you start appreciating what's already yours. You may not have what others do, but you also don't carry their struggles. When you trade comparison for gratitude, you finally make space for peace. Another silent habit that steals your time is complaining about things you can't control. It's easy to do the news, the weather, the way people behave. There's always something to be upset about. But constant complaining shapes your mindset more than you think. I once saw two elderly men at a diner. One, Henry, spent the whole meal complaining about politics, his health, the noise. The other, Jim, smiled quietly and changed the subject to his grandchildren. Later, I overheard Jim say he used to complain too until he realized it made him bitter, not better. That moment stuck with me. Complaining doesn't change the world, it just steals your joy. Claire, 65, once decided to go a full month without complaining. She kept a notebook and wrote down every negative thought she caught herself saying. At first, it filled up fast, but by the end of the month, there were only a few lines. She said the world didn't change, she did. Her mornings felt lighter, the birds sounded louder, and even her coffee tasted better. That's the quiet truth of growing older wisely. Peace is a practice. When you stop wasting energy on complaints, you create space for gratitude. Then comes saying yes when you want to say no. After years of being reliably helping family, running errands, being there for everyone, it's hard to step back. But saying yes out of guilt or obligation is a quiet way of abandoning yourself. Mary, 67, loved her family but always said yes to babysitting, even when she was exhausted. Eventually, she told her daughter she wanted Fridays just for herself and no errands, no babysitting, no guilt. That Friday, she walked in the park, ate lunch alone, and read her favorite book. By evening, she said she felt more alive than she had in years. Saying no isn't rejection, it's redirection. You're choosing what restores you instead of what drains you. After 60, you've earned that right. The people who truly love you will understand. Another waste of time is arguing just to be right. With age comes wisdom, but also the temptation to correct others or prove a point. Maybe it's about politics, family choices, or how things used to be. You may win the argument, but what do you really gain? Tom, 73, loved debating. Eventually, friends stopped visiting because every chat turned into an argument. One day, he told me, I used to care about being right. Now I just want to be at peace. He had learned that being right feeds the ego, but peace feeds the soul. Arguments rarely change minds, they just harden hearts. Let others have their opinions. Choose calm over conflict. Peace lasts longer than victory ever will. Now let's talk about something serious, ignoring your health. After 60, your health becomes your true wealth. Yet, many people still postpone checkups, dismiss symptoms, and call it just getting old. But the truth is, small habits now can shape the next decade of your life. George, 66, ignored his fatigue and chest pain for years until a mild heart attack changed everything. Thankfully, he survived and started walking daily, eating better, and taking care of himself. Within months, he felt stronger than he had in years. He told his friends, I didn't know how bad I felt until I started feeling good again. Your body has carried you through so much. It deserves care now. A gentle exercise, balanced meals, rest, and joy. Health isn't just physical, it's emotional and spiritual, too. Stress and loneliness can harm you as much as poor food. Treat your body kindly, not as a machine to push, but as a home to cherish. Finally, there's living without gratitude. In later years, it's easy to focus on what's missing, people you've lost, dreams that didn't happen, youth that's gone. But gratitude transforms what's left into something beautiful. Helen lost her husband and spent months withdrawn. Her granddaughter gave her a notebook and asked her to write down 3 things she was grateful for each day. At first, her notes were simple: good weather, had coffee. But gradually, her lists grew more heartfelt: the smell of rain, laughter from next door, warm sunlight. Within weeks, her smile returned. Gratitude had quietly pulled her back to life. That's the gift of gratitude. It turns ordinary moments into blessings. When you start noticing small joys, your heart feels lighter. You stop chasing what's missing and start appreciating what's here. Gratitude turns mornings into peace and nights into contentment. So as you think about these 9 lessons, remember the say after 60. Every minute is precious. You don't have to prove anything anymore. You don't need to please everyone, fix the past, or win every argument. You don't need to compare or complain. You just need to live with honesty, kindness, and awareness of what truly matters. Your peace isn't something you earn, it's something you choose, day by day. Let go of what drains you. Spend your time where your heart feels light. Laugh often, rest deeply, forgive quickly, love quietly, and be gratefully, deeply gratefully for the gift of being here, right now. Because after all, life after 60 isn't about how much time is left, it's about how beautifully you choose to live it.